Hi! In this video, you will learn how to determine and analyze the response of a second-order circuit. A circuit containing a resistor, inductor, and capacitor is described by a second-order differential equation, and hence the term second order. The same is true even if there are no resistors. So if you have a circuit containing only a capacitor and an inductor, that is still a second-order circuit. Now, circuits containing inductors and capacitors are very useful because they are used as filters and as resonant circuits in electronics and communications engineering. In this video, we will analyze the response of a simple series RLC circuit if the input is DC, and also if the input voltage is sinusoidal. So if you're ready, let's begin! Here, we have a circuit containing a series combination of a resistor, inductor, and a capacitor. We also have a voltage source. So this voltage source could be AC or DC depending on the given problem. Now, we will formulate a differential equation that describes this circuit by applying, of course, sino na Newton's second law of motion, di ba? Ang gagamitin na natin this time ay KVL. Okay, so if we apply Kirchhoff's voltage law, which states that the sum of all the voltage drops in a closed path is equal to 0, then we will have this V of t, which is equal to the voltage across the resistor, that is R times I. So here we have a current I of t. Next is the voltage across the inductor. So we may recall that the voltage across the inductor is given by the expression L times di over dt. So dapat alam nyo yan, okay? And lastly, for the voltage across the capacitor, that's the charge in the capacitor divided by C. Here, we have two dependent variables, I and Q. That is why it would be best if we will express this entire differential equation in terms of only a single variable. For example, gamitin muna natin yung Q. Okay? So, alam natin ang relationship ng I at Q is this equation, no? I is dQ over dt. Okay? So, itong I na to, papalitan ko lang siya ng dQ over dt. Or simply, yung dot notation na lang ang gamitin natin para simple Q dot. Tapos itong di over dt, magiging second derivative siya ng Q. Okay? And uunahin kong isulat ito kasi siya yung highest derivative. And i-divide natin both sides ng L so that the leading coefficient would be 1. Okay? So may makukuha tayo dyang Q double dot plus itong R, i-divide ko ng L times Q dot, ito yon, plus 1 over, itong C mamumultiply ng L. Kasi nga, divide natin yung entire equation by L. And may matitira na Q. Equals, ito rin yung V of t, i-divide din natin siya ng L. Ayan. So, meron na tayo ngayong second order linear differential equation with constant coefficients. So, yung coefficients niya dyan, yung R, L, at saka C, these are the parameters given in the problem. So, since we have a non-homogeneous differential equation, may makukuha tayong solution containing two parts. No? Yung solution yan, meron ulit complementary at particular integral. Pero since ito ay application, ang gagamitin natin is yung natural response at saka yung forced response. So, dito sa differential equation na ito, ang makukuha nating solution is Q of t. Yung Q of t na makukuha natin is the sum of the natural response and the forced response. However, kung hindi naman itinatanong sa problem ang Q, pwedeng dumirekta ka na sa current. Okay? So, yung differential equation mo, instead of expressing it in terms of Q, we can express the differential equation in terms of the current I. Paano yon? Okay. So, i-differentiate na agad natin itong differential equation na ito. Okay? So, pag yan ay dinifferentiate natin, ito ay magiging L times d squared I over dt squared plus ito kapag dinifferentiate ko, magiging R times di over dt. Diba? Plus ito. Pag dinifferentiate ko, 1 over C, kasi constant lang naman yung capacitance, times dq over dt, which is essentially the current, equals, i-divide R, i-differentiate mo rin ito. Okay? The derivative with respect to t of the voltage source v of t. Okay? So, yan na ngayon yung ating differential equation. Now, pwede natin i-divide both sides again by L. Okay? And express this in terms of the dot notation. However, kung dot notation, may tuldok na yung I. So, instead of using the dot notation, I can use instead the prime notation. So, I double prime plus R over L times I prime plus 1 over LC times I equals 1 over L times the derivative. Wag na natin derivative kasi prime, no? So, lagay na lang natin dito v prime of t. Diba? Mas simple siya. So, we now have a second order LCCDE. Kung isosolve natin yan, of course, makukuha tayo ng non-homogeneous differential equation. So, meron ulit yung dalawang parts, no? May natural response at saka meron siyang forced response. Dapat pala ito ay F. Yan. So, ang solution yan, I of t is the sum of the natural response plus the forced response. So, kung natural response, isaset lang natin yan sa 0, yung right-hand side, kasi walang input. So, either way, kapag gumawa tayo ng characteristic equation or auxiliary equation, yung makukuha nating roots parehas lang. Bakit? Kasi, pag tiningnan mo yung differential equation, yung coefficients niya parehas. 1, R over L, at saka 1 over LC. So, whether you are solving for the current or for the charge, your auxiliary equation will be the same. And therefore, the transient response would be the same. No, yung makukuha mong resulta sa transient response nila. So, para malaman natin ang transient response, kinakailangan nating malaman yung damping ratio. Diba? And para ma-derive natin ang damping ratio, kinakailangan itong equation na ito ay ma-compare natin sa standard form ng isang second order system. Ano nga iyon? So, let us recall that the standard form of a second order system is x double dot plus 2 zeta omega naught x dot plus omega naught squared x equals 0. Diba yan yun? From which, makukompute natin yung omega naught. So, for the natural response, kinakailangang i-zero natin yung input. So, nakadepende lang yan sa ating characteristic equation. Diba? At dun sa initial conditions na ibibigay sa problem. Next, yung forced response naman, nakadepende dito sa V of t. At pag kinukuha yung forced response, remember, dapat ang initial conditions ay ginagawa nating 0. So, dito, ano ba ang mga kailangang initial conditions? Ang kailangan nating initial conditions, if we are solving for Q, dito sa una nating differential equation, ang kailangan natin ay, lagay natin dito, initial conditions. Kailangan natin ng Q of 0 and Q dot of 0. Kung current naman yung ating sinosolve, kailangan natin ng initial value ng current and I prime of 0. Okay, so these are the two initial conditions required. These are the initial conditions if your equation is in terms of Q, and these are the conditions required if your differential equation is in terms of I. We would also like to characterize and describe the natural response of the system. And to do that, we need to calculate the damping ratio and also the natural frequency. This time, we can call it the natural frequency of vibration kasi wala namang nagva-vibrate. Okay, so we simply call it the natural frequency, or if you want, the frequency of oscillation. And how are we going to do that? By comparing the differential equation that we have to the general form of the second order system. Okay, so from this, omega naught squared can be compared to the coefficient of I, which is 1 over LC. So that means this 1 over LC is omega naught squared. Therefore, my omega naught is the square root of this. Square root of 1 is just 1. And in the denominator, I will have square root of LC. So this is our angular frequency, which is equal to 2 pi f naught. So this is our angular frequency. Next, if you want to solve for the natural frequency of oscillation, so you just divide this by 2 pi. And we will get 1 over 2 pi times the square root of LC. Now, this is called the natural frequency of oscillation, or simply the natural frequency. Now, let us solve for the damping ratio. So, yung damping ratio ay yung zeta. So, itong 2 zeta omega naught ay i-compare natin dito. Okay? So, that means that 2 times zeta omega naught equals R over L. So, if you want to solve for the damping ratio, isolve lang natin dito yung zeta. So, that would be R over 2 omega naught times L. R over 2 omega naught times L. Okay? So, this is the expression for the damping ratio. Knowing the damping ratio, pwede na natin describe yung natural response ng system, ito, o kaya ay ito, na maaaring overdamped, critically damped, or underdamped. Okay? Remember that if this is greater than 1, overdamped yan. Kapag ka less than 1 but greater than 0, that's underdamped. And if this is equal to 1, that is critically damped. Okay? So, ayan, alam na natin yung mga parameters, no? So, kapag binigyan tayo ng problem, isosolve na lang natin. Ito yung solution, IN plus IF. Tapos, kapag hinanap yung natural frequency, ito yung formula niya, 1 over 2 pi squared of LC, and this is the damping ratio. So, ito guys, magagamit nyo to hindi lamang sa DE, okay? This formula is very useful when it comes to resonance, no? Pag nag-aral kayo ng resonance circuits and even filters, magagamit nyo yan sa mga electronic subjects nyo and even sa EE, sa circuits too. And sa mga communication subjects nyo if you are taking up electronics and communications engineering. Okay? So now let us solve some example problems. Example number 1. In an RLC circuit, we have the following values. So malamang series yan kasi wala naman nabanggit, no? So we will consider that this RLC circuit is a series circuit. So the resistance is 10 ohms. We have a 0.5 Henry inductance and 0.02 farad capacitance. So wag na natin kopyahin kasi nakalagay naman. The capacitor has an initial charge of 0.05. Ayan, lagay na lang natin dito. Initial charge, Q of 0 is 0.05. And an initial current of 0. Ay, walang initial current. At ang supply voltage natin ay constant. Okay? So, we have V of t na hindi function of time kasi nga, constant siya. So sa example na ito, yung RLC circuit natin na nakaseries, ang supply voltage ay DC. Okay? Now, determine the following. Ano daw ang kanyang damping ratio? At ano ang natural frequency? Madali lang yan. Para mahanap ang damping ratio at ang natural frequency, kinakailangan alam mo yung formula. Di ba kanina nag-derive tayo? Unahin natin yung natural frequency. So, instead of getting the frequency in hertz, ang compute na lang natin is yung angular frequency niya na omega naught. Okay? So, yung omega naught niya, remember, the formula is 1 over square root of LC. Okay? So, that's, okay, gamit na lang tayo ng calculator, para rekta na siya doon. 1 over the square root of L, which is 0.5, times C, which is 0.02. Okay, we have 10. So, here, our natural angular frequency is 10 radians per second. Okay, next, we solve for the damping ratio. So, remember that the damping ratio, zeta, is equal to R over 2 omega naught multiplied by L. Diba? So, irekta na natin yan sa calculator again. So, here, we have R, which is 10 over 2 times omega naught, which is 10, times L, which is 0.5. 1. Ay, shit! Kung ang damping ratio ay 1, that means ang natural response nito na purely transient ay critically damped, 'di ba? Yes. Okay, lagay natin dito. Therefore, the natural response is critically damped. Next, hanapin na natin ngayon yung natural response at saka forced response. Okay? So, para makapaghanap tayo ng natural at saka forced response, kinakailangan natin ng differential equation. Okay? So, ilagay muna natin dito, natural response. Ayan. Galing, no? Before pa natin makuha yung natural response, na-describe na natin siya. Gamit lang yung values ng parameters na given. Okay? So, for the natural response, remember the differential equation that describes the series RLC circuit, that is Q double dot plus R over L Q dot plus 1 over LC times Q equals, dapat 0. Bakit? Kasi nga natural response. Tapos, gagamitin natin yung initial conditions na given. Ito. Yan. Gagamitin natin yan para makuha ang natural response. Now, let us substitute Q double dot plus, what is R? R is 10 over L, which is 0.5. 10 over 0.5 is 20. So, that's 20 Q dot plus, okay, so L times C, we have L 0.5 times C. So, kalahati nito is 0.01 and the reciprocal of that kasi 1 over. 1 over 0.01 is 100. Okay, so 100 Q equals 0. Ayan. So, gamit ang isang calculator, makukuha na natin ngayon yung roots. Right? Mode, equation. Okay? Pero perfect square to eh, di ba? 100 or 10 times 10 is 100. Tapos 10 plus 10 is 20. So, yung roots nito repeated. Dalawang 10. Okay? Dalawang negative 10 rather. That is why, so lagay muna natin dito, M1 is equal to M2 is equal to negative 10. So, repeated yung roots. Which is, tama. Bakit? Kasi nga, kapag critically damped yung response, dalawa yung roots. Nauulit siya. Okay? Kaya ngayon, may makukuha na tayong Qn. Ano ang ating Qn? Qn equals C sub 1 e raised to negative 10t plus, since naulit yung root na 10, C sub 2 times t e raised to negative 10t. Ayan. So, this is now the expression for the natural response. Now, gamitin natin yung initial conditions na given para mahanap ang values ng C1 at C2. Palitan natin yung color ng pen. So, kunin ko muna yung first derivative, no? Kasi kailangan natin yan para sa expression ng current. So, Qn dot equals, ano ang derivative nito? Negative 10 C1 e raised to negative 10t. Tapos ito, ano ang derivative niya? Oh, derivative of a product yan. Okay? Kasi meron kang Ct times e to the negative 10t. Okay? So, the derivative is negative 10 C2t multiplied by e raised to negative 10t plus, okay, C2 times e raised to negative 10t. Ayan. Now, pwede na tayong mag-substitute ng initial condition. Sabi niya, ang Q of 0 ay equal sa 0.05. Okay? Dito natin yan isa-substitute sa expression ng Q. Ang matitira dito is C1 na lang. C1, kasi po pag itong t ginawa nating 0, mag-vanish yung term na to. So, matik, meron na tayong value ng C1 which is equal to 0.05. Now, for the second condition, I of 0 equals 0. Dito natin yan isa-substitute kasi yung Q dot yun yung I. Dito may matitirang negative 10 C1. Ito magzi-0. Tapos plus, may matitirang C2 doon, equals 0. Ay, shit! So, ang C2 natin ay equal sa 10 times C1. And 10 times C1 is 0.5. So, ayan, meron na tayong values ng C1 at C2. Kaya, pwede na nating isulat yung natural response ng circuit na ito. So, dito natin ilagay Qn of t equals C1, which is 0.05 e raised to negative 10t Tapos, ito C2 plus 0.05 E. Oh, I forgot something, no? Critically damped yan. So, dapat may T e raised to negative 10t. Ayan, meron na tayong expression ngayon para sa natural response. So, how do we describe the natural response? The natural response is critically damped because the roots are repeated and at the same time, na-prove natin yan kasi ang damping ratio ay equal sa 1. So, nag-a-agree yung ating mga solution. No? Halimbawa, dito, ang nakuha mong damping ratio ay 1. Tapos yung nakuha mong roots ay dalawang magkaiba. May mali doon. Bakit? Kasi nga kung critically damped, dapat ang makukuha mong roots ay dalawang magkagaya. Repeated. Case to yon. Okay? Kasi kung ang nakuha mo ay dalawang magkaiba, ay tapos real parehas, yun ay overdamp. Pero critically damped nga siya, di ba? So again, mahalaga kapag nagsosolve ka ng problem, presence of mind. Okay? Presence of mind. Now, solve naman natin yung forced response. For the forced response, yung differential equation natin, kopyahin ko lang yung left side, q double dot plus 20q dot plus 100q equals, this time, dapat may input na. Okay? So, yung input natin is ito, 12. Diba, i-divide natin yan ng L, kung saan ang L ay 0.5. So, 12 divided by 0.5 is 24. So, lagay ko dito, 24. Tapos, yung initial conditions na gagamitin natin this time ay 0 na. Okay? Bakit? Kasi yun ang requirement para sa forced response. Q of 0 and I of 0 should both be equal to 0. And since this is non-homogeneous, kailangan natin ng dalawang solution. Yung complementary plus yung particular integral. Okay? Unahin natin yung complementary solution. Q, C. So, hindi naman nagbago yung left side ng equation, kaya yung makukuha nating roots parehas din. That is why the form of the complementary would be the same as the form for the natural response. C1 e raised to negative 10t plus C2t e raised to negative 10t. Next, for the particular integral, we have a constant term on the right-hand side. Yan yung f of x natin or f of t, di ba? So, kung constant yan, dapat yung QP natin constant din. For example, a. So, pag yung a na yan, kinuna natin ang derivative, first man or second, 0. So, pag nag-substitute tayo, 0 ito, ang matitira is 100q. At yung q na yun, yun yung QP. Okay? That is why 100 times QP equals 24. And obviously, QP is 24 over 100. That is 0.24. Okay? So, meron na tayo ngayong QP. Now, pwede na natin isulat yung expression ng forced response. Okay? QF equals QC plus QP. So, adding the two, the forced response is, eto, C1 e raised to negative 10t plus C2 times t e raised to negative 10t plus 0.24. Ayan. Meron na tayo ngayong forced response. Kaso nga lang, meron pa siyang mga arbitrary constants na C1 at saka C2. So, to find the values of C1 and C2, kailangan nating i-impose ang initial conditions na parehas ng 0. Computein muna natin yung first derivative, QF dot. Kasi kailangan natin siya para dito. Diba? So, QF dot is negative 10 C1 e raised to negative 10t. Tapos, pag ito, dinifferentiate ko, minus 10 C2t e raised to negative 10t plus C2 times e raised to negative 10t, and the derivative of a constant is 0. Now, let us substitute the initial conditions. Okay? Ang sabi niya, ang Q of 0 ay equal sa 0. Which means that, dito natin yan isa-substitute. Kapag nag-0 silang lahat, ang matitira lang is ito. At saka 0.24. Okay? So, C1 plus 0.24 equals 0. Thus, C1 is negative 0.24. Next, the initial current is also 0. Kasi, again, forced response. Dapat ang initial conditions ay 0. Dito natin yan i-substitute. May matitirang negative 10 C1, ito magsi-0, at ito C2. Plus C2 equals 0. Ay, shit! So, yung C2 mo ay, lipat ko sa kabila, 10 times C1. So, pag ito multiply ko ng 10, magiging negative 2.4 lang siya. Ayan. So, meron na tayong values ng C1 at saka C2. Now that we have the values of C1 and C2, pwede na nating isulat yung expression para sa forced response QF of T, which is equal to, yung C1 is, ito, negative 0.24 E raised to negative 10T minus 2.4 T E raised to negative 10T. Yan. Plus, yung constant term na 0.24. So, meron na tayo ngayong forced response. At dahil kumpleto na yung natural response at saka forced response, pwede na nating makuha ang complete response ng system or ng circuit. So kung mapapansin natin yung forced response, meron ding part na transient, itong dalawang exponentials, at meron ding part na steady state. Bakit? Kung papansinin natin, ang input ay constant. Kaya dapat yung output na makuha natin sa steady state, constant din yan. Okay? So that means, sir, kapag pala ito ay sinusoidal, ang input, dapat pala pagdating ng steady state, ang makukuha ko ring response, sinusoidal? Yes. Okay? That's it. Ganun yun. Now, i-add na natin yung Qn at saka Qf para makuha ang complete response. Sulat natin dito, the complete response is, so Q of T equals, kanina meron tayong 0.05 at saka negative 0.24. I-add natin yan. If we add 0.05 and negative 0.24, ang makukuha natin is negative 0.19. Okay, so negative 0.19 E raised to negative 10T. Tapos ito, negative 2.4. I-add sa 0.05. Parang may mali, no? This should be 0.5. Okay, sulat natin. Ayos. 0.5. Ito yun, no? Okay, so if you add 0.5 and negative 2.4, ang makukuha natin sa sagot is negative 1.9. Okay? So, minus 1.9 T E raised to negative 10T plus 0.24. Ayan. So, ito na yung charge as a function of time. So, dito, ito yung transient part at ito naman yung constant value ng charge. So, that means pala na pagdating sa steady state, yung charge doon sa capacitor ay constant, hindi na siya nagbabago. So, we can expect na since hindi nagbabago ang charge, anong mangyayari sa current? Remember that I is dq over dt. Diba? So, kung ang I ay dq over dt at sa steady state, hindi na siya nagbabago, ano bang derivative ng constant? 0. So, dapat ang makuha nating current, pagdating ng steady state, 0 yan. Diba? Okay. So, compute natin ngayon yung current. No? So, if we want to solve for the current, at any time, i-differentiate lang natin yung Q. Diba? Because I is dq over dt. So, pag dinifferentiate natin to negative times negative, positive. 10 times 0.19 is 1.9. So, 1.9 E raised to negative 10t, negative, negative, positive. Okay? So, magiging ano to? Derivative of a product yan eh. So, magiging 19t e to the negative 10t times, ito derivative niya is negative 1.9 e raised to negative 10t. Okay. Tapos, derivative ng constant 0. So, now, ay, shit! Anong mangyayari? Itong dalawang terms na ito magka-cancel siya. O, i-cancel na natin. Ay, nag-cancel yun. At ang natirang current as a function of time, I of t is 19t e raised to negative 10t. Okay? So, kung i-describe natin yung current, habang tumatagal, anong mangyayari sa t? It will approach infinity, pero ito ay decaying exponential. Diba? So, habang tumatagal, ang current na makukompute natin ay magzi-zero. So, yun ang description natin base sa ating nakuhang equation. Pero sinabi natin kanina na ano yun? Kapag ang current ay kinompute natin sa steady state, dahil itong charge ay constant, ang derivative niya ay 0. Ang makukuha dapat nating current ay 0, which is tama. Diba? Because if you get the limit of this expression as t approaches infinity, kasi gusto mong malaman yung steady state condition niya, ang makukuha mo ay 0. O, di ba ang galing? Amazing Grace. Na para mas ma-appreciate niyo yan, pakita ko sa inyo yung graph. Ito ngayon yung graph ng charge at ng current. O, hulaan nyo, alin dyan yung charge at alin yung current? Okay, yung charge kanina, ang steady state value niya is 0.24. So, obvious yun kasi ito yung may value na 0.24. This is the charge as a function of time, and this green graph here is the equation or the graph of the current. Yan. So, ganyan pala ang graph kapag critically damped. Ano? Ayan. Whoops! Walang oscillation. Okay? And then mag-steady state na. Dito naman, hindi na siya nag-oscillate. Bakit? Kasi hindi naman siya gumanon eh. Hindi siya naging wavy. Okay? So, dito mabilis ang pagtaas ng current. Kasi mabilis magbago yung charge. Dito ang charge constant na, hindi na siya nagbabago, kaya ang current 0 na. Kasi magkakaroon lang ng current kapag nagbabago ang charge. Why? Because I is dq over dt. O, di ba ang galing? Nare-relate natin yung mga alam natin. Okay? So, after this, let us solve another problem. Next problem, in an RLC circuit, R is 10 ohms, L is 0.5 henries, C is 0.02 farads. So, kung napansin nyo, yung RL at C parehas lang dun sa previous problem, di ba? Tingnan natin kung parehas lang din yung initial charge. Okay, so same lang din. Kung marirecall nyo kanina, ang initial charge ay 0.05 coulombs. At ang initial current, 0 din. So, ang pinagkaiba lang this time, ang supply voltage natin ay sinusoidal na. Di ba kanina DC? So, dito, yung makukuha dapat nating natural response parehas lang. Tapos, ang magbabago lang is yung forced response. Okay? So, ano bang mga itinatanong? Yung damping ratio daw at saka natural frequency. So, hindi naman magbabago yun. Di ba? Yung damping ratio, kagaya pa rin nung kanina, that's 1. And the natural frequency, that is still 10 radians per second. So, ano daw ang natural response, forced response, at complete response? Okay. So, guys, this time, ang gamitin na lang natin na response is current. Huwag na tayong mag-solve ng charge. Instead of expressing the differential equation in terms of the charge, we will use the current instead. So, simulan natin mula dun sa differential equation ng circuit, yung original, that's L times di over dt plus Ri plus Q over C equals V of t. Diba yan yung original DE kapag nag-apply ka ng KVL dun sa series RLC circuit? So, ang gagawin natin is i-differentiate natin siya para makakuha tayo ng second order differential equation at nang ma-eliminate natin yung Q. Instead of Q, I na lang yung matitira dito. Tapos, i-divide natin both sides by L. Okay? So, if I differentiate this with respect to time, ang makukuha ko na is I double prime. Okay? Plus, i-divide ko to ng L. So, R over L. Tapos, ito i-differentiate ko siya. So, I prime plus 1 over LC times derivative ng Q with respect to T, that's I, equals 1 over L times the derivative nitong V of T. So, that's V prime of T. Okay, ito na ngayon yung ating differential equation na isosolve. Diba? So, i-substitute natin yung mga values. Ito naman, di magbabago yun. Diba? So, that is just I double prime plus, ito pa rin yung kanina, R over L is 20. I prime plus yung 1 over LC 100 pa rin yan. Okay, 100I equals 1 over L. Okay, times the derivative of V of t. So, itong V of t, pag dinifferentiate natin yan, that's 12 times 10, that's 120. Diba? 120 divided by yung L na 0.5, magiging 240. Okay, so we will have 240. Derivative ng sine is cosine. Cosine of 10t. So this is now the differential equation that we will solve. Now, sabi ko nga sa inyo kanina, yung natural response na makukuha natin dapat kagaya lang nung nakuha nating natural response kanina. Bakit? Kasi po, hindi nagbago yung values ng RLC at hindi nagbago ang initial conditions. That is why for the natural response, kokopyahin lang natin yung result kanina. Pero instead of Q, ang gagamitin natin is current, 'di ba? IN of T equals 0.05 e raised to negative 10t, kung natatandaan nyo yan, plus 0.5 t e raised to negative 10t. Okay? So, yan yung natural response na nakuha natin kanina. Next, hanapin naman natin ang forced response. For the forced response, itong differential equation na ito ang gagamitin natin. Pero, yung initial conditions natin ay dapat mag-0. Right? So, ang i-consider natin initial conditions ay, remember, yung Q of 0 ay 0 at saka I of 0 ay equal din sa 0. So, sulat natin dito. Kopyahin ko lang yan. I double prime plus 20 I prime plus 100I equals 240 cosine of 10t. Yan yung differential equation. But since this is I, ang kailangan nating initial condition ay I of 0. Which is 0 dapat. Kasi nga, siya ay forced response. Diba? Kapag forced response, dapat ang initial condition ay 0. And I prime of 0. So, paano natin malalaman yung I prime of 0? Dito yon, okay? So, di ba itong di over dt, I prime yan? So, kapag nilagay mo dito yung value niya, Q of 0, which is 0. So, mawawala to. Itong Ri, gawin mong R times I of 0, which is also 0. Diba? Tapos ito, gawin mong V of 0. So, ano ang value ng V kapag ka ang T ay 0? Sin yan. So, sin of 0 is 0. So, pag kinumpute mo yung di over dt, ang makukuha mo dyan is yung di over dt when T is 0. Okay? Which is 0 over L, which is also 0. Diba? Bakit ganon? Kasi nga po, remember, kapag forced response, dapat ang initial conditions ay lahat 0. So now, pwede na tayo ngayong mag-solve ng IC at saka yung IP. Diba? May dalawang parts yan. Yung complementary at saka yung particular integral. So for IC, mula sa differential equation na to, pag ziniro natin yan, yung form niyan ay C1 e raised to negative 10t pa rin plus C2 e raised or C2t. Remember, critically damped yan. E raised to negative 10t. Yan. Tapos yung IP, dapat ay sum ng dalawang terms. Bakit? Kasi po, yung f of t natin ay 240 cosine t. 240 cosine t yan. So, dapat yan ay A times cosine of 10t plus B times sine of 10t. Wala namang complication. Bakit? Kasi itong IP ay purely sine and cosine. Samantalang yung IC ay exponential. Tapos ito, exponential na may multiplier na t. So, walang complication dyan. Hindi natin kailangan mag-modify. Now, para mahanap ang values ng A at saka B, kinakailangan natin siyang kuhanan ng first derivative. Ito yon, sa substitute doon, at second derivative. At dahil wala na tayong space sa slide na to, sulat na lang natin ang first derivative sa kabilang slide. And that would be, derivative ng cosine is negative, di ba? Negative sign. So, negative 10a sine 10t. Sulat natin dito, IP prime is negative 10a sine 10t plus derivative ng b sine 10t is 10b cosine 10t. So, yan ang first derivative. Next, kunin natin ang second derivative. For the second derivative, differentiate mo to magiging negative 100a cosine 10t minus 10 times 10 is also 100. 100b sine 10t. Next, isubstitute natin yung mga derivatives na yan dun sa differential equation na ito. So, first is the second derivative. So, I'll just copy this. Kopyahin ko to, negative. Tapos, plus 20 times the first derivative. Ito yung first derivative. So, ta-times ko lang to ng 20. So, minus. So, times 20, di maging 200 yan. Minus 200a sine 10t plus 200b cosine 10t. Next, di ba yung last term is plus 100a? Ito yun, no? Saan na ba yan? Ito, or 100i. Okay, so itong i na to, mumultiply lang natin ng 100. So, plus 100 times a cosine 10t plus 100b sine 10t. Oh my God, hindi na kasya. Lahat ng yan, e-equate ko sa 240 cosine 10t. So, mamaya na yun. Simplify ko na lang muna to. Okay? So, tingnan natin. Baka may mga terms dito na magka-cancel. Kasi parang napansin ko kanina may magka-cancel. Ito, negative 100a cosine 10t. Ito, tsaka ito magka-cancel. Huli ka. Okay, ano pa? 100b sine 10t. 100b, ay! Nag-cancel siya. So, ito na lang, dalawang terms ang natira. Diba? So, we have negative 200a sine 10t. Rewrite natin yan. Negative 200a sine 10t plus 200b cosine 10t equals, saan siya equal? Dito, 240 cos of 10t. Now, we can equate the coefficients to solve for the values of a and b. Dito, ang may coefficient ay cosine. So, dapat yung 200b, e-equate natin sa 240. 200b must be equal to 240. Okay? So, what's 240 divided by 200? Diba? That's just 1.2. No need for calcu. And, itong a, dapat 0 yan kasi walang term dito na may sign. Okay? So, a is 0. Ayan. So, nakuha na natin yung value ng b. Meron na tayong b. So, makukumpleto na natin yung detail para sa IP. So, ito mawawala. Ito na lang yung matitira. So, we can now write the expression for the forced response. Ano na ngayon ang forced response? Baguhin natin ang color. Gawin natin white. IF is equal to, remember, yan ay may complementary, ito yon C1 e to the negative 10t plus C2t e raised to negative 10t plus yung IP. Na ang matitira lang is yung B kasi ang A ay nag-0. So, ito lang yung matitira. Okay? B. Ano ba yung value ng B? 1.2. So, plus 1.2 sine of 10t. Ayan. Ito na ngayon yung expression natin para sa forced response, IF. Pero, meron tayong C1 at C2. So, para malaman ng C1 at C2, kinakailangan tayong mag-impose ng initial conditions. Di ba yung initial condition nakuha na natin kanina, dapat 0 sila parehas. No? Pero, kailangan ko muna kumuha ng current, no? Derivative niya. IF prime. Okay? So, negative 10, C1 e raised to negative 10t. Tapos, minus 10, C2, t, e raised to negative 10t, plus C2, e raised to negative 10t. Tapos to, anong derivative niya? Derivative ng sine is cosine. 1.2 times 10 is 12. So, plus 12 cosine of 10t. Now, let's impose the conditions that when I of 0 is 0, ang makukuha natin dyan is, eto siya, C1, ito magzi-0 to. Ay, C1 is 0. Bakit? Kasi itong sin 10t, pag ang t ay nag-0, magsi-0 rin siya. So, ang matitira lang is C1 is equal to 0. Next, when I prime of 0 is equal to 0, dito natin yung isa-substitute. May matitira dyan na 10, negative 10 C1. Ito magsi-0. Plus C2 plus ito, 12. May matitira dyan na 12 equals 0. So, yung C2 ay equal sa negative 12. Bakit? Kasi nga ang C1 ay 0. Di ba? So, 0 yung term na to. Ito ililipat ko sa kabila. Therefore, C2 is negative 12. Amazing grace. So, pwede na nating i-rewrite itong IF natin. Di ba? Okay. Rewriting IF equals, this term becomes 0. Kasi ang C1 ay 0. May matitirang negative 12. So, negative 12 times t e raised to negative 10t plus 1.2 sine of 10t. So, meron na tayo ngayong forced response. I-analyze natin yan. Dito meron tayong decaying exponential at habang tumatagal ito ay magva-vanish at ang matitira na lang is yung sinusoidal. Bakit kaya ang natira sa steady state ay sinusoidal? Kasi nga ang input natin sinusoidal din. Yun yung sinasabi ko kanina, 'di ba? Sa unang example, ang input natin ay DC. Kaya dapat pagdating doon sa steady state, ang matitirang response constant din. Kung ang input constant, ang output constant din. Dito naman, ang input sinusoidal. Kaya dapat ang output, pagdating sa steady state, sinusoidal din. Okay? Now, let us add the natural response and the forced response para makuha natin yung complete response ng system. So, itong term na to, hindi present din eh. Right? Kokopyahin ko na lang yan. So now, let us write the complete response of the circuit by adding this forced response and this natural response. If you notice, this is not present. This term does not have a similar term in IF. So we just copy it. Okay? So I of t equals 0.05 e raised to negative 10t. Tapos, itong negative 12, i-add natin sa 0.5, right? So, magiging 11.5 yun, negative. So, minus 11.5 t e raised to minus 10t. And, ito yung walang term doon sa natural, di ba? So, kopyahin ko na lang yan. Plus 1.2 sine of 10t. Okay. So, here is our complete response showing us the transient part. Ito yung part na transient at ito yung part na steady state. Lagyan natin ng label yan. So this part is the transient part. We label it as I trans. And this part is the steady state current. O, di ba madali lang? Sobrang dali lang. Napakadali. Okay, so ngayon, mathematically, nakuha na natin kung ano yung natural response, yung forced response, at inad natin sila para makompute ang complete response. I-graph natin yung tatlong yan para makita natin kung anong itsura nila. Okay? So, here's the graph. Okay. So, yung kulay green dito, yan yung graph ng natural response. So, kita natin ang liit lang, no? Ganyan kapag critically damped. Okay? Tapos yung forced response natin, 'di ba yung forced response natin ay may part doon na transient. Ito siya. Ito yung part na transient at ito yung part na steady state. Okay? So makikita natin yan sa graph. Alin dyan yung part na transient? Ito. Oh. So makikita natin dito na yung sine wave natin ay hindi pa stable, no? Ayan, oh, lumalaki pa siya dyan. And then, after some time, naging stable na siya, steady state na. 'Di ba dito nasa ayan no, andito pa siya sa baba, hindi pa siya kapantay noon. Tapos ito hindi pa siya kapantay noon obviously. So yan yung forced response ngayon, yung kulay orange or brown. Now, ano naman yung complete response? Pag inad natin yung dalawang yan, ito yung makukuha natin. Ayan. 'Di ba halos hindi naman masyadong nagbago yung part na na transient, okay? So makikita natin dito ito yung part ng forced response, yung kulay orange, kita pa rin dito. Kita pa rin siya. Pero nung inad natin yung forced at saka natural response, ito na yung response na yan, kulay blue. So, madaling na-achieve yung steady state. Madaling niyang narating. So, remember, dito sa problem na ito, ang input natin ay sinusoidal. Diba? Sinusoidal ang input. At ang nakuha nating response sa output, sinusoidal din. Now, if we will recall, ano nga yung frequency? Yung natural frequency nito? The natural frequency is, remember, that's square root of 1 over LC. Na pag kinompute natin is 10 radian per second. Tingnan natin kung ano yung frequency ng input. Yung frequency ng input kasi natin from V of t is 12 sine 10t. Ito yung frequency niya, 10. So, pareha silang 10. So, kapag ka ang natural frequency at saka ang frequency ng input ay nag-equal, yan ang tinatawag natin na resonance. Okay? Resonance. However, since meron tayong resistor dito sa problem na ito, yung resonance natin ay practical resonance. Practical resonance. Ang output nun is sinusoidal na may constant peak. Bakit po? Kasi may damping na present. So ano ang mangyayari kapag nawala yung resistor? Kasi siya yung nagkakos ng damping. So actually, yan yung isosolve nyo dito sa practice problem na ito. So I use the same values of L and C. And I also use the same initial value of charge and initial current. Pero wala itong resistor. This is simply an R, not an R, but rather, this is an LC circuit, which is described as a resonant circuit. Ano kaya ang nangyayari kapag ang resonance ay walang damping element? So remember, kapag electrical circuit, anong circuit element ang nagke-create ng damping? It's the resistor, right? So let us have some analogy dito bago nyo isolve yung problem. So kung ito ay mechanical, i-compare natin yan sa electrical. Meron tayo ditong spring. Remember, meron kang spring, meron kang mass, at meron kang damper. So sabi natin yung damper ay katumbas ng resistor. Kasi yung damping dito nang gagaling sa R na yan. Mamaya papatunayan natin yan. Next, yung mass, yan naman ang katumbas ng capacitor. At itong spring, yan naman ang katumbas ng inductor. Okay? So, yan ang analogy sa pagitan ng mechanical at ng electrical system. Sir, bakit ang damper ay kagaya ng resistor? Tingnan natin dito ha. Meron tayo ditong, saan na ba yun? Yung derivation natin kanina. Ayan no, damping, the damping ratio depends on R. So, kung ang R ay 0, walang damping. Di ba? Kaya sabi natin, yung damping ay nanggagaling hindi sa L, but rather sa R. So that's it. Natapos na tayo sa topic natin about second order circuits. So kapag nag-take kayo ng subjects next semester, kagaya ng Circuits 2, at saka ng control systems, I am pretty sure mani-mani na langin sa inyo. Mas ma-appreciate nyo doon. Pag inaral nyo yung mga subject na yun, yung topic natin sa differential equation. Baka masabi nyo sa sarili, ito yung itinuturo ni Sir Amboy last sem. Dapat pala pinakinggan ko siya. Dapat pala nag-take down ako ng notes. So sabi ko nga sa inyo kanina ha, resonance din to kasi nga resonant circuit. Pero ano ang nangyayari kapag resonant ang circuit pero walang damping element, wala kang resistor? Okay? So, yan ang inyong isosolve at aalamin. Ganito pa rin yung makukuha nating response. Ano kaya ang makukuha nating response? Ano ang itsura ng graph ng current na ating makukuha? So, current yung isosolve nyo ha. So, let me know your thoughts. Kapag na-solve nyo na, you can comment them on the comment section below. Okay? So, hanggang dito na lang. Until the next video. Bye!